Hello, and welcome to the recorded version of the Starting a Business Information Session, Part 1. This is a recording to provide this resource. Even if you aren't available for our live session, you'll still be able to access this information. Now, I do encourage you, if you have any opportunity, to attend the live session because it's interactive. You get to see other women entrepreneurs from all over the province and feel that sense of inspiration. But we know that women entrepreneurs are busy people and not everyone can attend live sessions. So that's why we are offering this recording for you. So I would like to start by acknowledging this beautiful land that I am hosting this recorded session from, which is the Silks Okanagan Nation. And I give so much gratitude to be able to work on this land. And so my name is Danielle Andrews. I am the Client Service Officer at WeBC. I will be the host of both of these sessions, and I look forward to spending the next 45 minutes or so with you. So part 1 is all about business planning. So I hope that you've been able to register for this session and get some of the supportive documents. In an upcoming slide, I will have the link so you can find all of those supportive resources if you weren't able to find that either on your email or on our website. Today's agenda for our Starting a Business Info Session Part 1 is I'm going to start by telling you about the resources that WeBC offers women entrepreneurs all over BC. We're going to get into the mindset of business planning, and then we're going to go through the 10 steps to write an effective business plan. And in your Starting a Business resource package, you should have your agenda. The word SBIS is a made-up word that we've created, and it stands for Starting a Business Info Session. You are going to have that document called How to Write an Effective Business Plan, and we're really going to utilize that resource in today's session. We also have really helpful links, and I'm going to mention them throughout the session, and you'll be able to follow those websites and get access to those additional resources. And if you're scrambling, wondering where is this package, you can find it at go.we-bc.ca/SBIS resources. Now, I did mention this is a 2-part series. So in part 2, we're going to cover these topics from business structures all the way to accessing financing. And I do encourage you to register for that session at this link at the bottom here. Certainly, we offer that session live, and it's always great if you can attend that live as well. So WeBC is a not-for-profit organization, and we are dedicated to supporting BC women start and grow businesses and really achieve their idea of success. Our key services are listed on the screen for you to view. So we were actually founded as a loan fund because it was identified that women entrepreneurs were struggling to access the capital that they needed to start and grow businesses. So we started almost 30 years ago, and we had that loan fund, and we still have that loan fund today. So you can access up to $150,000 for your startup or business growth. We offer professional business advice. This is a free service that you can access, and the way to get a referral is through our client services team. And then we have skills development workshops. So we cover a wide variety of business topics, anywhere from marketing to financial literacy, working with procurement, growth strategies, lots of amazing business topics. And usually these are free. So you can find that on the events section of our website. We do offer a variety of mentoring programs, from group mentoring to one-to-one mentoring. So that's something you can look forward to learning more about, and all the info about mentoring is on our website. And of course, we offer a supportive community. So that is really gathering women entrepreneurs together and making sure that you feel like you're not in it alone. You might be in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And so let's get into the mindset of business planning. Before you take on any major task, it's really important to think about why bother. Is it really worth all the trouble? And I want to share it with you that there are 3 really good reasons to write a business plan. Number 1, writing a business plan will help you assess the viability of your business. You don't want to start a business just because it sounds like a good idea. You need more information than that. The second reason is to fine-tune or pinpoint your market. You might even discover customers or markets you didn't even think of. And number 3, writing a business plan will help you develop contingency or backup plans. Knowing that you've got a backup plan for any problems that may creep up will honestly help you sleep well at night. No big worrying, what if? And I'll be referring to the contingency plan in a few different places as we go through the effective business planning document. It's also really helpful to get inspired before you take on a major task like writing a business plan. So there's a couple different ways that can spark some inspiration. One way is to look at sample business plans. And a wonderful resource for you is the Small Business Accelerator. The link is on the screen for you, and it's also in your resource package. The website is sba.ubc.ca, and that is Small Business Accelerator run by the University of British Columbia. So what you can do is research your industry and see business plan examples for that particular industry. Another strategy to get inspired is sharing your idea with family and friends. And of course, connecting with a group of women entrepreneurs is always a wonderful idea to a way to share your different ideas. And so if we were in the live session today, this is where I would stop sharing my screen and we would do a roundtable of introductions. But since this is the recording, we're going to skip over that. And I do invite you to attend this session again live to take advantage of that introduction opportunity, because it's really valuable to feel like you are not in it alone. There are other women entrepreneurs who have really similar questions and really great ideas. So that's again an invitation to attend live. Now we're going to get into the 10 headings of writing effective business plans. So on the screen, you will see 10 headings. And what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to go through each of these headings, and you are going to follow along with that document. So I will make some comments about the order that you'll write your business plan in, give you some tips, some research advice, and really some mindset tweaks to help you make the best business plan possible. Now, as I go through this business plan and these headings, it's going to feel really quick as I go through the first 3 or 4 topics, but then we're going to spend a lot of time on the market analysis, a lot of time on the marketing plan, operations, and financial plan. So it's going to feel really quick, and then we're going to take our time to go through these other sections. Here we go. The first heading of your business plan is your executive summary. This is a description of the key points covered in your plan. You will describe your company and you will describe what you're selling. You will identify what your competitive advantage is, or what is that special thing that you are doing in your business to leverage over your competition. If you are looking for funding or financing, you will write in this section what you are needing for funds and what you plan on doing with it. One of the best things to know about your executive summary, it's one of the very last things that you do. It's a summary of the key points in your plan, and it gets limelight on page 1. Your second heading will be your table of contents, and this helps keep your business plan organized. You will have your headings and page numbers, and it will make it easy to flick through your business plan and get the information that you need. It's one of the finishing touches of your business plan and one of the very last things that you do. Your third heading is the description of the company. So what is the nature of your business and where are you going with it? You can give a bit of history, including how you got into the business or your passion, how you discovered this idea. You can also describe the structure of the company. So is it a sole proprietorship? Are you in a partnership? What does that look like? And again, in part 2 of this 2-part series, we talk all about the different structures that you can choose when starting a company. So you give a brief history of your business and give an idea of the size and location. Are you selling online? Do you have a retail store? Are you consignment based? What does that company actually look like? The next heading is the description of your product or service. So notice how this is different than the actual company. This is where you describe what you're making, what you're selling, manufacturing, producing. If it's a service you're offering, how will you describe it? So in this section of your plan, you want to get a clear picture of the what in your business. If you have any patents in place or copyrights, you'll include that as well. And notice how the product and service is different than the company. Over the life cycle of your business, your product and service will probably change. It will probably grow and adapt as your business does. So just keep that in mind. You might want to say, you know, I'm starting with this product and I'm planning on developing it further. Whatever that looks like, you're able to include that in that section. In a few moments, we're going to talk about a value proposition, and that will really help you explain the product and service that you're offering and describe what value you are creating for your customer. So this is a bit of a tease. In a few slides moving forward, we're going to do an activity and you'll have an opportunity to really define the product and service that you sell. So now we've arrived at the market analysis, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time here because one of the keys to a great business plan is the research that goes into developing your business concept based on knowledge that you gather. So how do you know that people want your product or service? Okay, and we're not just talking about friends or family here. This is especially important for new startup businesses or if you're introducing new products or services. Whenever I'm talking about market research and proving viability, my mind always goes to American Idol, the show where someone sings in front of a panel of judges and they get some feedback from the judges. And Simon Cowell is this judge who is really known to give some really hard feedback. And if you've ever seen the show, sometimes there will be a singer that comes onto the show that is just a horrible singer. And Simon Cowell will say, "Who told you that you can sing?" And they'll say, "Oh, well, my friends and family tell me I'm a great singer." And then they get kicked off the show. So we want to make sure that we're not having a Simon Cowell moment in our business. Yes, it's important to talk to your friends and family, get that support from them and have them cheer you on. And it's also important to back up your business viability with market research and prove that viability with the people who will actually spend money on your product or service. Okay, and so I'm going to give you an example, and throughout this session, we're going to use a dog daycare as an example throughout this session. So in our doggy daycare, one of the research questions that's going to be important is how many people are in my target market? Okay, so that's a really important research question that every business owner will be wondering. How many people are in my target market? And your target market are the people who are going to spend money or exchange some kind of resource in order to get your product or service. So it's basically your customer. So let's say you're opening that doggy daycare. In BC, since owning a dog requires owners to have a dog license, you can actually find out how many dog owners are in your area. And if you know that only higher income people are going to afford your doggy daycare, you can find how many people fit that income bracket in your city. You can find this kind of information at your local city hall, regional districts, BC government websites. You can research on Statistics Canada. And also your local Chamber of Commerce is a great resource, especially if you're in a small community, rural and remote communities. You might not find that Stats Canada is finding information that feels relevant to you. So a great solution is to approach your local Chamber of Commerce or even your local regional district, because they will have very specific research for your region. Another resource that you should be aware of is local university, college, and libraries. So these are wonderful resources, and often you will be able to access online databases through those connections. So for example, you go to your local library and say, hey, I'm working on my business plan, and I'm looking at the small business accelerator guides, and I've got it for my industry, and I've got these certain questions that I'm wondering about. I've done some Google searching, and I'm not finding the kind of information that I'm looking for. Okay, this is where you can approach a librarian, and they will help you access these databases. All of these research sources are secondary research. Okay, secondary research is information that has already been gathered. Someone else has gone out, done that research, collected it, and you are accessing that information. So make sure you're looking at dates, location, and making sure that you've got a strong sample size when you're looking at your secondary research, and just making sure that, okay, I can trust these sources. And certainly librarians will be able to help with that. And some communities in BC even have business librarians. So it doesn't hurt to ask. Certainly very helpful to utilize those resources. Then there is primary research. So primary research is the information that you collect firsthand, and your business plan will need to have both secondary and primary research in order for it to be complete. So if you're wondering, what are some ways that I can collect primary research? So there's 3 main ways you can do it. So one way is through personal interviews. That's where you go one-to-one with someone. Perhaps you're interviewing a supplier, or you're interviewing a potential customer. These are one-to-one interactions. Then there are focus groups. So focus groups are when you get a collection of people together, and then you ask them all a series of questions. to understand their thoughts, their trends, and their likelihood to really spend money in your business. And then the third way is to create a survey. So a survey is a wonderful tool, and it will help you get larger numbers in your sample size. How many people are you asking the survey to? So on the slide, I've got some really fantastic examples of survey questions that you can ask. And certainly you can ask these questions in focus groups and in your one-to-one interactions. So look at these questions on the slide. How often have you needed dog daycare in the past year? What is the most important consideration when you choose a dog daycare? What are you willing to pay for 1 day of dog daycare service? And how have you found out about dog daycare centers? If you get these questions out to a lot of dog owners, it will begin to paint a picture, including where to advertise, how much to charge, and what special features and benefits you should offer in your service. Now, I usually develop a brainstorming session here around what are some ways that you can motivate people to participate in your survey. So think to yourself for a moment, if I were to create an online survey, how could I encourage or incentivize people to fill that out? So some ideas that are often shared with me is offering a free access to their service when they open, offer them a gift card. Maybe it is a partner that you're working with. So maybe it's a gift basket with a partner that you're wanting to develop a relationship with. You know, be very strategic with the incentives that you provide. And the really cool thing about doing primary research in advance of starting your business is you have this opportunity to promote yourself and include your potential customers in that process. You can develop that excitement and that feeling of, oh, something's upcoming, and you know, building that client pool even before you launch. One idea is if you're doing an online survey, maybe you've started a social media account for your business and you're incentivizing people to participate in your survey. You can even ask them to subscribe to your newsletter. Even though you don't have a newsletter yet, that list will be available for you of those people who've indicated, yeah, I want to stay in the loop. Then you have a list already started, so you're not starting from scratch. So primary research is a great way to answer some really important decisions, and I will be referring to market analysis throughout this entire business plan. A really lovely tool that has been around for years and years and years is a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So let's dive into what is a SWOT analysis. First, we're going to look at the strengths and weaknesses of our business. And this is looking internally. So we're looking in the business. What are my strengths as a business owner? For our doggy daycare, one of the biggest strengths we have is that we have a good location. We're located right beside the airport. One of the weaknesses when we look internally at our business is we have the potential for high staff turnover. I know that because I called 10 doggy daycares in Canada and I asked them, what is your biggest hurdle? And that was a one-to-one personal interview that I did in my market analysis. Oh, I found that the majority of the people that I spoke to have really high staff turnover because the dogs are biting the staff. Okay, so whatever you find out in that market analysis about the strengths and weaknesses, you're going to put that in the internal analysis section. Now we're going to look at opportunities and threats, and these are external. So you're not looking within your business, you're looking out into the world, into your industry. So some of the opportunities that we found when doing our market analysis was that there's a growing number of dogs in the market that our business is serving. This is a trend that we're seeing, more and more dog owners. A threat, if we're looking externally in the marketplace, is, wow, more people are working from home. This is a trend, so maybe people don't necessarily need dog daycare. So when you're doing your SWOT analysis, you should list about 5 different bullet points for each section to have a full SWOT analysis that gives you a good idea of what the internal and external influences are in your marketplace. Now that we've done the market analysis, now we're moving into the marketing plan. And it's very important that we're only working on our marketing plan after we've done the work in figuring out as much as we can about our customer, what their preferences are, so much information we've found out. Now we're applying that to our marketing plan. So here are the 4 P's of marketing. The first one is pricing. What are your customers willing to spend? And here's a hot tip. It's not what you would be willing to spend in your business if you were a customer. No, we're actually talking about your customer. So what are they willing to spend? There's product and positioning. So what do your customers think and feel about your company, and how do you relate to your customers? So are you known as being cheaper, faster, friendlier? How are you positioned in the marketplace and in your industry? The third P is promotion. So what benefits does your product or service provide, and what problems does it solve? This is really where we're talking about advertising. How will you reach your customers, and what are you going to say? How will you say it? How will you display what it is you are selling? And then place. So this is really about how are you selling your product and service, and how are you distributing it? So how will your customers find you? Are you online? Are you brick and mortar? How are you interacting with your customers? And how will you make it easy for customers to buy from you? You know, you want to make that process as seamless as possible, so there's no delay when they're making that decision. And of course, these are the 4 P's of marketing, but marketing is a topic that will go on and on and on forever throughout the entire life cycle of your business. There's 4 P's of marketing, there's 6 P's of marketing, there could be 10 P's of marketing. Marketing is a huge topic, and we've included these 4 topics so you don't feel overwhelmed. These are really key pieces, but just know that as you become a business owner, you're going to be tempted to spend a lot of money on different marketing programs, strategies. People are going to reach out to you and say, hey, spend money on this marketing package. Your answer always needs to look back at your market analysis and make sure that if you're spending money in marketing, you are directly communicating with the customers that are able to make the decision to purchase from you. Do not waste a lot of time, money, resources on huge marketing strategies that are not focused. That's a risky endeavor. So make sure you have a plan in place that is all centered around your customer and your target market. And to really drill home this point, we are going to do an activity. So this is a value proposition, And the source of this activity comes from a website called Strategizer. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see it's strategizer.com/VPD. Okay, so let's do this activity together. And what you're going to do is look on the left-hand side at the sample, or pardon me, the legend that we're using, and then on the right hand is the sample. Okay, so we're going to go line by line, and I'm going to fill in the blanks with the sample on the right side. So here we go. Our product or service, and in this example, we're using dog daycare services. Okay, the next line is customer segment. So who is my customer? I'm going to pause just for a second. We have our target market, and then we have customer segments. Your target market might be very broad, and then your customer segments get more specific. And this becomes really relevant, especially if you have quite diverse offerings. Your customer segments will be different. Okay, so look at what it is you're offering, and you might want to have multiple value propositions for your business. And for this example, the customer segment that we're talking about is a busy dog owner. Okay, the next line is job to be done. So what is my customer segment trying to accomplish? They are trying to travel, knowing that their dog will be in good hands. Now, the next line is looking at the customer pain point. So what pain is my customer segment suffering from? What is this busy dog owner feeling pain, and so much pain that they are going to trade money for my service? Okay, so what is the pain? The pain in this case is the stress of leaving their beloved pet behind. Okay, and on that line, you're going to choose a verb that is a reducing or avoiding or decreasing. So your service or product is decreasing this pain that hurts so bad. And then we've got the last line here, which is your customer gain. So what does your customer get from staying with you? Well, we're going to ensure that each dog has a safe, fun, and clean stay. You know, the customer will gain that experience, and we're going to increase or enable that for them. And we even send daily photo updates. Okay, so let's read it from the top. Our dog daycare services helps busy dog owners who want to travel, knowing that their dog will be in good hands, by decreasing the stress of leaving their beloved pet behind and ensuring each dog has a safe, fun, and clean stay. We even send daily photo updates. So now is your time to pause, do this activity, and see what kind of value proposition you can come up with for at least one customer segment. Bonus points if you can come up with 2 customer segments for 2 of your products or services. Now, I'd like to make a comment on your marketing plan. So remember when we talked about the 4 P's of marketing, there's a couple additional P's of marketing. The value proposition that you have really gives justification to your marketing strategy because it's based on the value that you are providing to your customer. So in our dog daycare service, our pricing strategy is going to be premium pricing. It's more expensive than the competition because we're located right by the airport, and you know that's who our customer is. Our positioning in the marketplace is we are a necessity for the traveling dog owner, and maybe we're known as being a little bit more expensive. The way we're going to promote ourselves, we're going to advertise at the airport because we know that The traveling dog owner is going to be at the airport. Sales. So how are the customers going to purchase from us? We're going to have subscription options and per day options available. And the placement and distribution will be in person. So our location is by the airport, but we'll have the ability to pay online or in person for that subscription. All right, and here again is an opportunity to connect with us. If you've got questions that pop up, you can certainly email us. And at the end of the presentation, I'll give you our email address so you can send in your questions. Okay, now we're moving on to the operations part of your business plan. The operations part of your plan describes the how you will conduct your business. It will include information about your suppliers, personnel, hours of operations. So in other words, let's say your business opened its doors tomorrow and say you had 200 customers at your door. How will you do what you need to do in your business? Where did your stock come from? How will your customers pay you? What systems do you have set up? If you're a manufacturing business, how will you manufacture what's being sold? What regulations govern your industry? What does your staff team look like? How is your business structure, organizational structure working? Okay, this is a lot to think about. And a really great starting point is to use this tool, which is called a business model canvas. A business model canvas is a way to look at your business from a bird's eye view, and you can see how the different parts of your business operate together. What I did here is took a screenshot of the resource, so it's a little fuzzy, but if you start on the right-hand side and then move left, you'll find it a good way to move through this activity. So in the far right-hand column, if you squint really hard, it says customer segments. So remember, we talked about customer segments. You've got your target market and then your different kinds of customers. So you would list your customer segment. Then as you move over towards the left side, there's that little heart that says customer relationships. So it's possible that you have a different kind of relationship with each kind of customer. Maybe some customers are very transactional, but maybe you develop a deeper relationship with certain kinds of customers. Like our doggy daycare example, we might have our subscription customers, and then we have our one-day customers, and maybe we have a different relationship. So that's an example of how you use this tool, and it goes even through how will your customers pay you and all of that. So I recommend going to strategizer.com, and even canvanizer.com is a great resource for you. Okay, so now we're on financial plan. First of all, I would like to declare that I'm not an accountant, but you don't need to be one either in order to build your financial plan. And really, your financial plan summarizes all the different pieces of your business plan. And the information that you're putting on your financial plan comes from your market research, your operations, your business strategy, what it is you're selling, where you're selling it from, all of that. So if you're thinking about the order of how to write your business plan, your financial plan kind of comes near the end, but it will help you make decisions that you might tweak as you proceed. So what we're going to focus on is building your cash flow forecast. And we're focusing on that because cash is queen, and without cash, your business cannot succeed. And cash flow forecasting is just a part of your financial plan, but it really will help save your business and make some really important decisions. So again, what I've done is I've taken a screenshot of the Excel spreadsheet that we have as a free resource to you that's part of your package. And it's such a fabulous tool because it's got the formulas built right in, and you can edit this as much as you want. So we've got the different categories and different topics that we've typed in to get you started. But of course, you can change it to fit your business. So I want you to have this image in your mind as we go through an example. So you're kind of taking a mental note right now of the fact that there's a whole bunch of columns going up and down and a whole bunch of rows going across. And if you squint really hard, you can see the first column says startup, and then the next column says month 1, month 2, month 3, all the way to 12. Okay, so you're kind of keeping that in your mind as we go through this next sample. And we're going to start a smoothie bar. So we moved from selling a service like the dog daycare, and now we're going to choose to have a retail sample where you're selling a product. So in that first column, remember that column that goes all the way down? That is your startup costs. So before you open your doors, you're going to have some expenses that you have to cover the cost for. So you lease the space, got a brand new sign on the building, you did a whole bunch of renovations, your business license, your insurance, and you bought 10 blenders. Okay, these are all your startup costs. And then you'll have the amount of each cost, and then you'll total it at the bottom to figure out what are the startup costs. The next task you have to do is figure out what your fixed monthly costs are. And that's when you saw the different columns, month 1, month 2, month 3. So what's your rent each month? Utilities. If you're leasing equipment, maybe you didn't buy all of the blenders, maybe you have to lease some of them. What's your marketing budget? Office supplies, computer upgrades, lots of different ideas that we've shared with you in that Excel spreadsheet that will help you stimulate some ideas of what are going to be the fixed costs for my business. And the really helpful thing about Excel is if, say, for example, you know what your rent is going to be, you can take that number and just drag it across for all the months, because you know that your rent is going to be consistent each month. You can just drag that across. So while you looked at that Excel spreadsheet and went, oh, there's so much I need to fill in, actually, a lot of the time you just need to figure out what does it cost for 1 month, and you can drag it across, So there is just a way to make it so much easier for you. Your next step is to figure out your cost of goods sold. So there's a reason why we changed the example from offering a service to a product, specifically to explain cost of goods sold. So let's say, for example, in your smoothie bar, you are going to sell 1 smoothie. In order to sell 1 smoothie, you need 1 banana, 1 cup, 1 lid. Okay. If you sell 500 smoothies, you will need 500 bananas, 500 cups. Okay. So you can see that this is where the term, oh, it costs money to make money. Yes, you need to invest money to create the product that you're selling. And that's how you use cost of goods sold. And then your last step is to project your sales. So how much will you sell each month? And do you have different revenue streams? So for the smoothie bar example, you might have sales from your smoothies and then sales from your branded t-shirts and branded cups. A good way to estimate your future revenues is to break things down into smaller pieces. So for example, you could break it down into how many customers you think you will have per hour. And then you can average out the amount you think they will spend per visit. So maybe every customer is going to buy 1 or 2 smoothies. Okay, so find the average of how much money they're going to spend. Then you can multiply that number by the hours you're open. And now you know your estimated daily revenue. And now that you know your estimated daily revenue, you can multiply that by the number of days that you're open in a month. And then there you go. That's your estimated monthly revenue. And of course, you can adjust these numbers to account for busier times in the year. Like in January, you might not sell as many smoothies as you will in the height of August. So you can kind of account for what you think will be a busier and slower time. So this all comes together in what's called a cash flow forecast. And this is a fantastic tool, that Excel spreadsheet. It will make you think over time and month by month, what money will be coming into the business and how much money is going out of the business. Cash flow forecasts are usually prepared for a 2 to 3 year period. And remember, if you're wondering, where do I get that information for my financial plan or for my cash flow? Remember, look back at your market research, look back at your business strategy. So instead of guessing how much money is coming in and out of your business, it's based on educated and research guesses that will help you look down the road in terms of business viability and financial health. So again, remember that we've got the tools to help you with this step. The Excel spreadsheets have the formulas built right in, and they continue for that 2 to 3 year period. So when you open the Excel spreadsheet, you'll see at the bottom, there's different tabs, and you can open year 1, year 2, year 3, and then you can see what your cash flow will be. And as you do your cash flow, you might realize, I will need a loan because I can't afford to meet my cost of goods sold expenses, or I need a loan to open a new location in my 2nd year, or, it will help you make decisions. And the really amazing thing about your cash flow projections and doing it on Excel is that it doesn't cost you any money. You haven't actually spent that investment yet. So play with it, get creative, look at it as an opportunity to learn, opportunity to be an educated business owner, educated about all the different aspects of your business and how different strategies can influence or affect your bottom line. So I hope that this explanation has taken any fear out of the process and really put the mindset of being a creator, the mindset of being someone who is willing to explore, willing to strategize, and really have an open mind in the business planning process of what is possible. Let's move on to the market analysis and contingency planning. So this is the part that I referred to earlier, the planning that will help you sleep well at night. This section of your plan is all about the what if dragon. So the what if dragon asks questions like, what if my revenues fall short of what I projected in my cash flow? What if a competitor moves in next door and undercuts my pricing? What if my main supplier goes bankrupt and I can't get my shipment of supplies? What is my backup plan? So a contingency plan will develop a 1-paragraph answer, how you will respond to that challenge. Lenders do look for contingency plans because it shows that no matter what, you've got a backup plan for any problems that may creep up. And when you're looking at internal and external risks, you can refer back to your SWOT analysis. Remember, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're looking at that threat section. What are the threats and how can I respond to that threat? And how can I back up that strategy in my financial plan? So as a line item in your startup costs, let's say, for example, you've got a backup plan that requires some money. You're going to put that money in your startup costs because you know that you're going to need that backup plan just in case. So I hope as we're going through this, you can see how your business plan is a complement of each other. All of these pieces build off of one another. And so when I get the question of what order should I operate or start my business plan in, I hope that I've provided you with some ideas of the order of things, and certainly this risk analysis and contingency planning comes at the end because you will have done so much research and figured out what are those risks. And so now you're putting it in the back of your plan. And lastly, we've got your supporting materials. So this is the end of your business plan where you're going to put in photographs, samples of your product. If you're applying for a loan, your lender will let you know what it is you need, like your partnership agreement, your shareholders agreement, you know, whatever it may be, you're going to put that at the back of your business plan. So I like to give you a really good tip to get all organized. And this is one of the tips for effectiveness. I like to suggest that you get 10 file folders, either electronic or hard copy, and label each of those folders with one of the headings. So as you gather your research and information, you simply take that and put it into the appropriate folder. So then when you're ready to sit down and write your business plan, you've got it organized and at your fingertips. And so if we're looking at the slides here, what are some additional tips? Make sure you're concise over having a very lengthy description. And it will probably take you 10 to 20 pages in order to get all this information across. So at the end of your business plan, you're going to ask yourself these two very important questions. Number one, is this business worth getting into? And number two, will this business help me achieve my goals? If you can say yes to both of these questions, then you are ready to move on to the next step, which is making your business official. So I hope that you will join us for the live session because I always think live is best. We host part 2 on Wednesdays at noon. I encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter where we provide just wonderful resources specifically to women entrepreneurs in BC. We only email once a month through our emails, and if you subscribe to our e-blast, you can get region-specific resources. And if you have any questions that came up today, and you're thinking, oh, I really want to speak with someone about this, send us an email. Our email is clientservices@we-bc.ca. We would love to hear from you. I really appreciate you sticking to the end. I know recorded sessions sometimes feel overwhelming, so use this as a resource. Look back on the different sections and please stay connected with us. We've got a really amazing social media team in-house, so make sure you check out our Twitter, our Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Certainly our website is we-bc.ca. And I just really wish you all the best with your business. You know, BC needs you, a group of women entrepreneurs who are moving the dial, We are so excited that you're here, that you've found WeBC. We encourage you to let your friends know about us, about this not-for-profit that is just so passionate about supporting women entrepreneurs. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to staying connected with you.